Hey ladies, welcome back. And if you're joining for the first time, I'm glad you wandered in. Settle in, pour yourself a glass of wine or tea. Maybe even both if your week has been one of those. Now listen closely. Today's topic is playful, warm, a little bold, and it might give you a fresh way of seeing your own influence as a woman. When most people picture something sexy, they imagine tight dresses, bright lipstick, and posing like they're in a glossy ad. But that's not the kind of thing we're looking at here. Real allure, the kind that actually stirs something in a man, hides in the smallest details. It shows up when you are not putting on a show. And that makes it far more powerful than anything you could force. So today I'm sharing 7 things women do that men find deeply attractive without even trying. And no, these are not tricks or strange strategies. They're natural habits, honest moments that make a man pause and think, hold on, she's different. I need to know who she is. Whether you're seeing someone in a long relationship or just exploring your own feminine presence, you'll enjoy this. And honestly, a few of these might even surprise you. You may find yourself saying, wait, that's attractive to men? Yes, it is. Let's begin with something subtle. You want to know what quietly sets a woman apart in a world where people talk over each other trying to be heard. It's the way she handles silence. Not the stiff, awkward kind where you stare at your phone pretending to scroll. Everyone knows that one. I mean the silence that feels steady, warm and confident. The kind where she doesn't rush to fill the moment with nervous jokes or scattered talking just to keep the air moving. Instead, she's steady, present, relaxed, and that kind of stillness, it carries weight. There is something deeply appealing about a woman who isn't scrambling to prove anything. When a man says something and she doesn't jump in with a fast answer, but simply smiles, holds his gaze, maybe takes a quiet sip of her drink and waits, he feels it. That calm pause creates a spark. It makes him wonder what is going on behind her eyes. It creates pressure and curiosity in the gentlest way because it says, I'm not here to win your approval. I'm here because I choose to be. Most people speak to impress. Someone who knows herself listens to understand. She isn't afraid of a pause. She uses it. It gives her room to see the person in front of her instead of rushing to fill the air. And for a man, that kind of peaceful confidence can be irresistible. It's not about being cold. It's about being centered. Her energy doesn't shout, please notice me. It quietly says, I know who I am. Let's see if you can meet me here. Here's the interesting part. That quiet, composed silence doesn't push her away from him. It draws him closer. It makes her feel steady, like she is guiding the moment while he is still trying to catch up. That kind of presence stays with him. Because attraction isn't built from long speeches. It comes from the meaning behind the moments when you choose not to speak. When you give a man that small break, that breath where he waits to hear your next thought, you stop being just another person in the room. You become the moment he cannot shake off. Then there's a different kind of moment. One that happens so quickly, you might not even notice you're doing it. But to a man, it can hit like a spark. It's the simple hair flip. Before you roll your eyes and think, that? Really? Hear me out. I'm not talking about the exaggerated, dramatic kind you see in commercials. Not the slow motion, theatrical, rehearsed version. I mean the effortless one you do without thinking. Maybe you're talking and laughing, and you sweep your hair behind your ear without noticing. Or you're focused on something on your phone and you toss your hair aside so you can see better. That small movement is the one that gets his attention. It's not rehearsed. It's not planned. It's instinctive. And that's exactly why it's so appealing. Men notice it because it feels honest, unfiltered, like you're in your own world for a moment. In a time when so many things feel staged and deliberate, There is something refreshing about a gesture that is simply you being you. It's not even about the hair. It's about the natural confidence behind the motion. It carries a quiet message. I'm at ease with myself. That kind of ease draws people in. Sometimes you aren't doing it for him at all. You're just adjusting, resetting, getting comfortable. And that makes it even more captivating because nothing is forced. You're not trying to impress anyone, yet somehow you do. That tiny flick of your fingers, that tuck behind your ear, that soft sweep across your face, it carries something gentle and feminine that he feels even if he can't explain it. Men notice these little things far more than they admit. They won't say, "The way she moved her hair amazed me," but they feel the moment settle in their chest. And that feeling stays with them long after the conversation ends. It lingers in their mind like a loop. They keep replaying it without fully grasping why. So, no, you don't need to perfect the hair flip. You just need to stay yourself. The moments when you're not trying are when you are at your most magnetic. Let's focus on something often overlooked: your voice. Now, don't worry. I'm not about to say you need to sound like a breathy movie star or whisper as if narrating a meditation. That's not it. I'm talking about tone. Specifically, that soft, playful, slightly lower tone women naturally use when they're present in the moment. It's not forced, it's not fake, it's natural, but intentional. And men, they melt for it. Imagine this, you're talking, maybe there's some flirtation. Instead of matching his volume or being overly animated, you lower your voice just slightly, not to sound overtly seductive, just enough to make him lean in to listen. That's the move. You're not shouting to be heard. You're drawing him closer. There's something quietly intimate about a woman who understands how to use her tone. Even a slight drop in pitch creates a private bubble between you and him, like a shared secret, as if the world doesn't need to hear it. Only he does. And that intimacy sparks connection faster than you expect. You're not seducing with words alone. You're seducing with presence. Your voice is one of your most potent tools. It's almost musical. Some women speak with this calm, grounded rhythm that makes a man slow down, tune in. He's not just hearing your words, he's absorbing them. And let's be honest, there's something deeply attractive about a woman who doesn't feel the need to perform. She's composed, slightly playful, maybe with a trace of mischief in her speech. And that tone, just a subtle shift, lingers long after the conversation ends. The secret isn't in what you say, it's in how you say it. Confidence doesn't need to be loud. Some of the most compelling women enter a room and speak in a voice so soft it commands focus. Because when you speak in a way that draws him in, you make him want to stay. Consider this, most men don't get compliments often. The average guy might only count on one hand the sincere compliments he's had in the past year, and half of those probably came from his mother. That's why a well-placed compliment, especially a surprise one, leaves an impression. It lingers, and it doesn't have to be some profound emotional declaration. Sometimes the most alluring compliment is the unexpected one. Why? Most guys are prepared for the usual. You look great in that shirt, or you have amazing eyes. Those are kind but ordinary. But if you say something like, there's something about the way your mind works that's really intriguing, or you have a calming energy that makes people feel at ease, that grabs attention. Why? Because it shows you are truly observing him. You're not just looking, you're noticing. That kind of recognition is rare and magnetic. Men, like women, want to feel appreciated. They want to feel they offer more than height, muscles, or the car they drive. When you compliment deeper qualities, his thoughtfulness, humor, listening skills, leadership, that sticks. It makes him feel valued, not just attractive. And here's the kicker. Feeling valued is incredibly alluring. Tone matters too. It's not about giving compliments like handing out business cards. It's about slipping them in naturally, with sincerity, maybe a hint of playfulness. Wow, that's insightful. Who knew you had layers? Delivered with a smile or a wink. Game over. Because the magic isn't just in what you say. It's how authentic, unexpected, and earned it feels. That's the kind of remark a man remembers. That's when he begins seeing you differently, not just someone who caught his eye, but someone who got inside his mind and lingered there. Picture this. You're across from a woman at dinner, or beside her at a cafe. She's telling a story. Nothing dramatic, just conversation. But as she speaks, you notice her fingers tracing the rim of her glass, her hand gliding absent-mindedly across the table, tucking her hair behind her ear slowly, naturally, as part of her rhythm. When she laughs freely, without restraint, it sends a message. I'm not here to impress. I'm here to enjoy myself. Every subtle gesture, every little change in tone, adds layers of connection that a man remembers long after the conversation ends. And let me tell you, nothing excites a man more than a woman who fully owns her joy. Because when you're around someone genuinely enjoying themselves, it's impossible not to be drawn into their energy. It spreads. Here's a little secret bonus. Laughter softens defenses. It eases tension. So, when a woman laughs freely and without apology, it makes him feel safer being himself as well. He starts to unwind, he begins laughing along. Suddenly, it's no longer just a conversation, it's a connection. And it all began because you weren't afraid to be completely yourself. Let's also not pretend a beautiful laugh isn't memorable. A man might forget what you wore. He might forget exactly what you said. But if your laugh made him laugh too, that sound will stick. That's the echo he'll remember lying in bed, scrolling through his thoughts, wondering why he can't stop thinking about you. So, don't hold back your laugh. Don't mute it. Don't cover your mouth as if your joy needs to be quieter. Let it out. Let it resonate. Let it be as bold and striking as you are. Because when you laugh with your whole self, you're not just attractive, you're unforgettable. There's eye contact, and then there's eye contact that lingers. I'm not talking about the kind that's too intense or feels like an interrogation. I mean that slight pause, an extra heartbeat longer than usual, where she holds his gaze, and in that brief moment, everything shifts. That moment doesn't just say, I see you. It says, I see you. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm not afraid to let you feel it. And that drives a man wild. Why? Because prolonged eye contact is vulnerable. It's potent. It conveys more than words ever could. When a woman keeps a man's gaze, especially with that playful glimmer, that subtle smirk at the corner of her lips, it sparks an immediate tension, like something unspoken is being communicated. Most people glance away too quickly. It's automatic. We feel shy, nervous, or hesitant to appear too eager. But that fraction of a second where she doesn't look away, that's the magic. That's when he starts questioning, is she flirting with me? Did I imagine that? What's happening here? Suddenly you're the enigma. You're the intrigue. And just like that, he's drawn in deeper. Here's the brilliance of it. It's not about overt seduction. It's about being deliberate. A confident woman understands the strength of her gaze. She doesn't waste it. But when she chooses to hold it just slightly longer than anticipated, it ignites a spark that lingers, almost like electricity in the air. She isn't loud. She isn't seeking the spotlight. But the way she carries herself, the way she moves with intention, grace, and that quiet, assured smile that says, I know who I am, commands attention. That's the moment heads subtly turn. So the next time you enter a restaurant, a meeting, or even your own living room, remember you don't need to shrink to fit in. Let them sense your presence. Let your energy speak before a word escapes your lips. A woman who walks with confidence doesn't chase attention, she draws it effortlessly. It's about embracing yourself completely, fully in your feminine energy. The woman who knows herself owns her space and doesn't need to pursue attention because it naturally finds her. That woman doesn't just attract men, she pulls them in. Mind, body, and soul. And here's the striking part. None of this requires changing who you are. You don't need to practice lines. You don't need to rehearse flirting. And you certainly don't need to act. All you need to do is stop hiding the magic that already exists inside you. Because when you embrace your natural power, even in ordinary, everyday moments, you become irresistible. And any man fortunate enough to experience that realizes he isn't just looking at a beautiful woman. He's looking at someone who moves him deeply. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 seductive qualities do you naturally exhibit without even realizing it? Or which one are you curious to explore further? Share your thoughts. I read every single one and love hearing your stories. And if this inspired a little confidence, joy, or even just a grin, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share it with a friend who could use a reminder of just how magnetic she really is. Remember, you don't need to be louder, bolder, or more. You just need to be yourself. Because when you do, you're not just sexy, you're absolutely irresistible.